Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And for a few minutes, I want to talk a little bit about Taysom Hill. Now, if you checked out my last video, I talked about Taysom Hill and how the New Orleans Saints put a first round tender on Taysom Hill. And that means that if a team wants to acquire the services of Taysom Hill, they would have to relinquish a first round pick. And I want to make this video because now that the Saints have done this, a lot of questions are being asked about Taysom Hill. And the main question is Taysom Hill the future of the New Orleans Saints? Is Taysom Hill the guy? Is Taysom Hill the true successor to Drew Brees? And I just want to answer that question. I mean, this is just my opinion, so it is what it is. Like everybody has their opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. I mean, this is just how I feel about the situation. I don't feel that Taysom Hill is the future of the New Orleans Saints. Okay? I don't feel like he's the future of the New Orleans Saints because, quite frankly, I haven't seen enough out of Taysom Hill to come to that conclusion. I feel like people in the Who That Nation, we get sucked up into people. The actual people, the people that we watch do interviews, the people that we see do big plays on the field. And all of a sudden, we just think that they can just do this on a consistent basis. I'll give you a prime example. I'm watching some footage of the wild card game versus the Minnesota Vikings. And we see Taysom Hill in the game. And, of course, Taysom Hill threw a 55-yard pass to Devontae Harris. And it was a good pass. I mean, it went between two of the Vikings defenders. But what people don't realize is that that play was so successful because the Vikings had 9 men in a box. Now, for those that don't follow football, when a defense have 9 men in a box, that means that they believe the offense is going to run the football. So because Taysom Hill is mostly in the game because of RPOs, which is run pass option, they didn't believe that he would throw the ball down the field. I say that to say this, folks. It's not going to be a bunch of RPOs being played when he is the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. They are going to believe that he could possibly throw the football. It's not going to be, he's probably going to run it. So you can chunk that up to them looking at some of the Taysom Hill plays in the past and believing that it was going to be a RPO. Me personally, when you look at the way that Taysom Hill plays, I mean, he plays very reckless. I mean, you got to look at him dropping the right shoulder when he's right-handed. You got to look at the fact that he's not looking to slide. He's looking to try to run somebody over. That is not what you want in a quarterback. That is going to get a quarterback hurt. So would we want to have a starting quarterback that's constantly getting hurt? I mean, when you look at Taysom Hill in the way that he plays, he's going to have to change it up tremendously. He's going to have to change it up because he's going to have to realize that he is the starting quarterback of the team, and he has to be available. I just don't feel like he is the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints because he's 30 years old. Okay, by the start of the season, he is going to be 30 years old. All right, he's going to be 30, and Drew Brees is going to be the starting quarterback of the Saints. So he's going to have another year. So by the time that Taysom Hill starts for the New Orleans Saints, he's going to be 31 years old. And how long do you think that Taysom Hill is going to play with his reckless play and, the fact that he is 31 years old? I just think that the Saints are going to draft a young quarterback, and that person is most likely going to be the future of the New Orleans Saints. And I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it's going to be next year. But I don't think that the Saints are fully sold on Taysom Hill being their starting quarterback. I think that they feel like he would be a guy that can, steer the ship until they feel like the right quarterback is in-house. Now, I'm not saying this because I don't like Taysom Hill. I like him a lot. I think he's a really good quarterback, and I think he brings a lot to the table. I think he brings an interesting dynamic. But I'm also smart enough to know that because he can do so many things, teams don't know how to scheme for him. But when you play quarterback and they get some game film on him, they'll know exactly how to scheme. Okay, and for that one person that was on YouTube that commented and said that I don't know that much about football and I don't know that much about Taysom Hill, and I should take a look at Chris Sims' quarterback school. That's what he told me. He said, I need to look at Chris Sims' quarterback school because Chris Sims is more qualified than me talking about football. Now, I will admit, I will concede that Chris Sims has played on a high level. He has played in the NFL. Chris Sims has threw a pass in the National Football League. But let's just be honest, man. Chris Sims has just as much validity and just as much backing of a player and talking about a player than I do. Because we all know that Chris Sims wasn't that good, okay? What world are we living in when we are relying on Chris Sims to give us good quarterback analysis? Chris Sims couldn't even stay healthy. Chris Sims couldn't even go a game without throwing an interception. Chris Sims wouldn't even be in the National Football League if his dad wasn't the starting quarterback of the New York Giants and Phil Simms. A lot of what Chris Sims got in his life is because of who his father is. Okay? So let's not even trip ourselves, okay? I mean, the guy does a good job on NBC, him along with Mike Flores. They do a good job, but to say that he is just qualified and he knows good quarterback play just because he played the position, man, give me a break. Might as well just go ahead and look at the incredible analysis of a Dan Orlovsky, right, on ESPN. I mean, he's way qualified to talk about football than I am. I mean, the same guy that ran out of the back of the end zone and had absolutely no field awareness. But he has more room to talk than me. What about Heath Shuler? Great quarterback analysis, right? I mean, you might as well just go ahead and put those guys in the same playing field. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, we're all fans and we watch football and we go by what we see. And that's the same thing I do every time I get in front of this camera, and talk about sports. Now, once again, I think that Taysom Hill is a good quarterback, but I don't feel like he is the future of the New Orleans Saints. But I would love to hear from you. What do you think about Taysom Hill and the first round tender that the Saints put on him? And do you think he is the future of the New Orleans Saints? Do you see Taysom Hill leading the Saints to multiple playoffs and also the Super Bowl? Do you see it? Comment down below, like and share this video. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. Once again, my name is TJ Jones. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com. Search the State of the Saints podcast. Also, subscribe to the State of the Game podcast, available on YouTube as well. And both podcast Facebook pages are available. Search State of the Saints and State of the Game. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?